The average system prompt reads like a text message, quick, vague, quietly hoping Claude will figure out what you actually meant. And Claude, to its credit, tries. It fills in the gaps, it makes assumptions, it reaches for the most common interpretation of whatever you gave it. And Claude, operating on incomplete information, reaches for the most common interpretation of whatever you gave it, which is the average of every situation that's ever looked like yours. Because the most common interpretation of your prompt is not your specific situation. It's the average of every situation that's ever looked like yours. An average output doesn't charge premium rates. How to write a system prompt that actually works. Not a template you copy, a system you understand so you can build one for anything. Before the how, the what. A system prompt is not a fancy way to ask a question. It's the conditions layer. Think of it this way. If Claude is a contractor you've just hired, a regular prompt is the task you give them on day one. A system prompt is everything you tell a new employee before they touched a single piece of work. Who you are, what you're building, who the audience is, what good looks like around here, what you never do, regardless of what a client asks for. Without that layer, Claude defaults. It reaches for the general case. It produces work that could belong to anyone. With it, Claude is calibrated before the work starts. Every generation runs against your specific context, not the statistical average of everyone else's. Every system prompt that works has 4 components. Not all of them need to be long. Some are a sentence, some are a list. The length isn't what matters. The specificity is. Component 1, role and context. Who is Claude in this session? Not generically, specifically. You are helping me write client-facing legal summaries for a commercial law practice that works with SMEs. Clients are business owners, not lawyers. That one sentence changes everything that follows. Component 2, register and tone. How should the output sound? Direct and peer-to-peer? Warm but authoritative? Technical with no simplification? And critically, what register should it never use? Never use hedging language. Never say "it depends" without immediately saying what it depends on. Component 3, what good looks like. Don't describe the task, describe the outcome. Good output here is something a client reads once and immediately understands what to do next. If they'd need to ask a follow-up question, the summary isn't finished. Component 4, hard constraints. The things Claude should never do, regardless of what you ask it in the session. Never include legal disclaimers in the body of the summary. That belongs in the footer, which I'll add separately. Take the email sequence service from the earlier episodes, B2B cold emails for founders. The prompt 9 people out of 10 would write, "You are an expert email copywriter. Write persuasive B2B cold emails that get high open and reply rates." The output is fine, competent. Subject line is generic, but not bad. Body is structured correctly. It's also exactly what you'd get from any AI tool asked to write a cold email. There's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing right with it either. It could belong to any company, any offer, any audience, which means it belongs to none of them. The same task, same model, now with the system prompt installed first. Here's what that looks like for the B2B email service, loaded into a Claude project before any work starts. You are helping me write cold email sequences for B2B founders selling to mid-market operations teams. Context you need. My clients are established businesses, not startups. They don't want startup energy in their copy. Operations managers get 50 cold emails a week. Generic problem framing gets deleted without reading. The goal is replies, not opens. A clever subject line that nobody responds to is a failed email. Register. Peer-to-peer. One professional writing to another. Direct, not aggressive. Assume the reader is intelligent. No manufactured urgency, no false scarcity, no exclamation points. What good looks like. Email 1 names a specific, observable problem, not a category of problem, a specific one. Every email earns its place. If you removed it, the sequence would be weaker. The breakup email is genuine, not a tactic. Never. Just following up. I wanted to reach out. Hope this finds you well. Excited to share. Any sentence that could appear in any industry's outreach. The first email that comes back from that project is different. The subject line names a real pain, not a category. The first sentence doesn't ease in, it names something. The second paragraph doesn't pitch, it costs the reader something to keep ignoring the problem. The writing quality is similar. The conditions are completely different. That's where the gap lives. The most underused part of any system prompt is the constraints layer, the never list. The effort almost always goes into telling Claude what to do. Almost none goes into telling Claude what to stop doing automatically. Claude has defaults, strong ones. It defaults toward hedging when topics are complex. It defaults toward summarizing at the end. It defaults toward balanced sentences and tidy structure. It defaults toward the register it's seen most, which is business professional with a thin layer of warmth. If those defaults don't match your work, and for most income work they don't, you have to name them explicitly and shut them off. Not be more direct. That's a direction Claude will attempt and probably miss. Instead, never use hedging language. If the answer is uncertain, say the answer is uncertain and explain what would resolve it. Don't soften uncertainty with qualifiers. Name it. The more specific the constraint, the less Claude has to interpret. And interpretation is where the drift happens. Building your first project system prompt for a real income service. Open Claude, go to Projects, create a new one, name it after the service type, B2B email sequences, contract review, research reports. In the project instructions, write 4 blocks. Block 1, who is Claude in this project? 2 to 3 sentences. The role, the client type, the specific context. Block 2, register. How should output sound? What should it never sound like? Be specific about both. Block 3, what good looks like. Not the deliverable description, the outcome standard. What would make you genuinely proud to send this? Block 4, never list. Every default Claude has that doesn't fit this work. Every phrase, pattern, or structural habit you've seen Claude reach for that's wrong for this service. Save it, run 1 session. After the session, add anything you directed Claude away from that isn't already on the never list. 3 sessions and you'll have a system prompt that produces first drafts closer to final than anything you'd get starting cold. The system prompt is not where you tell Claude what to do. It's where you install the judgment Claude will use before it decides how to do anything. The difference matters for income because judgment is what clients are paying for. They're not paying for words on a page. They're paying for the professional standard those words were produced against. The system prompt is how that standard survives every session, every draft, every generation, without you having to reinstall it from scratch each time. The template that comes with this episode, in the library at the link below, gives you the 4-block structure pre-formatted. Fill it in once for your primary service. Run it. Refine after 3 sessions. Next episode, 5 Claudes, not 1. What becomes possible when you stop treating Claude as a single tool and start treating it as 5 different specialists, each one calibrated to a different lens? The operator habits from episode 4, applied at scale. That's the episode. See you in the next one.